What's good? What's good? Guess who's back in the house again? I know I've been gone for a minute. I want to say what's up. Thank you, Kamish. Giving the brother a week off. I was a little under the weather. Still am. Still recovering. And you know how it is. Sometimes you get kind of busy with your life. So, week before, all that other good stuff. But I'm here now with enough time for you to see what happened last week, week 8. You know what I'm saying? In our Dirty South, Yahoo Fantasy Football League. Okay, I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm going to try to get to it and do it, get into these matchups. Okay, so check it. First matchup we're going to talk about Too Hot for TV versus the Rough Riders. First time these two teams met, it's probably easy. Anybody could probably just assume that Too Hot for TV lost, only because they've been in the basement for so long. But not in week 8. Too Hot for TV has an outstanding performance by Drew Brees this week to help him pull through the victory and avenge his loss to the Rough Riders. 137.90 to 123.96. Next matchup, we've got the Kingstree Wildcats going up against Fitty. This didn't look like much of a matchup either right here. 131.48 for the Kingstree Wildcats. 107.54 for Fitty. Now, let me break this down real quick because Fitty got some points on the bench over here. And I'm wondering if he could have maybe turned this thing around. Well, Mike Evans didn't really do his thing last week. Only got him 4.80 points. Probably could have put Snead in there. Snead was catching everything from Drew Brees. So we all know how that went. But other than that, couldn't have really done too much better. It was just an outperformance, by the Kingstree Wildcats. Like I said, if you had Brees throwing to you or Manning throwing to you and you had somebody on your team being the recipient of those points, like the Kingstree Wildcats, who had Ingram on his team. He had Benjamin Watson on his team. 22 points. He scored Gronkowski type, points last week. Okay? We're not going to get too much into all that. You already know the outcome. Kingstree Wildcats, they get the dub this week. You know what I'm saying? Our next matchup, I'm going to get into. We got David's team going against the ATL Dominators. Brothers, duking it out. Okay? This week, hey, the victor is David's team. 127.18 to 98.74 for the ATL Dominators. Alright, now, next matchup we got Duke Heavy Hitters. And that's the D to the U to the K to the E. Okay? Now, they going up against them Delta Dogs. And I don't know if they was trying to get a little revenge, because there's been a lot of smack talk going on, in the chat between Duke Heavy Hitters, the Kingstree Wildcats. But the Delta Dogs, they pulled out them big jaws, baby. Put them paws on them Heavy Hitters. Hey, and it was a little bit of revenge too, because last time I think Duke Heavy Hitters put them things on them Dogs. So now the Dogs even up the score in this series, and they come out with the victory. 111.10 to 79.18. Next matchup, got the Mobsters from the Valley. They came out to put a hit on Christy Love's team. But hey, you know how Christy Love do, baby. She kind of smooth with hers, you know what I'm saying? She might have came around with a roundhouse kick. What? The Monsters couldn't deal with that. They take a loss. And the victor does it with smooth fashion. 149.10 points to 108.10 points. Christy Love's team, the victor in this matchup, everybody. Check it out. Next matchup, we got Black Rain going up against the Catch number 13. And in this one, You know, I guess the catch number 13 just couldn't stop the rain. You know what I mean? They come out with the victory. Black Rain, 108.80 to 85.16. Next matchup and final one from week 8, we got the A-Town Jags going up against the Uptown Scrippers. Now, this one might make A-Town Jags a little bit salty. You know what I mean? Because in previous reports, it was reported that A-Town Jags came through with a slight victory. They grinded it out at the end, but must have been some stat corrections. The only thing I could think about what happened, you know what I'm saying? Hey, after the final, somebody looked at the tape and said, hold on a second, we got to make this right. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like the linebacker for the Uptown Scrippers, you know, got an extra, you know, half point or something like that. But there was a lot of stat correction going on with the defense for the Uptown Scrippers and everything like that. But the one that I think affected it the most is the one for Carlos Dansby. Okay? So the victory does not go to the Jags. It goes to the Uptown Scrippers. They are the winner in this matchup. And the score was 111.08 to 110.74. I mean, less than a point. Probably the smallest margin of victory this week in these matchups. Okay, now, let's get to these rankings. Let's see where you're ranking. Do you know where you at? Are you number one? Are you down in the basement? Okay, now, in first place with a record of 7-1, we have Black Rain doing their thing, coming back from the loss from last week to get back on that winning wave. You know what I mean? In second place, we've got Rough Riders still holding their own in second place overall, that is, not by record, but because of the fact of how they're ranking in their division. Okay, now that is because they got a record of 5-3, and I'm not really, maybe I don't agree with this, so, you know, wholly, but we're gonna go with what they say. Nah, you know what? Forget that. I'm saying, I'm going to change that for a second. I'm sorry, Rough Riders, and I'm sorry, everybody. I'm making a choice, you know, on the spot. Me, according to what I think, I'm the commentator, and I think the commission would agree with me on this. If not, I will be hearing it on the hotline. Second place, I'm giving it to the A-Town Jags. Okay, they've got a record of 6-2, and I think it's only right that they be in second place overall in the league. Okay, now with a record of 5-3, we're gonna give that to the Rough Riders. Now, regardless of points and everything like that, their record is 5-3, and they are their division leader for the Terminators. Okay, now I gotta be coming up on the spot with these places and remember where everybody stands. Okay, all right. Now, in fourth place, we're going to give that to D to the U to the K to the E, Duke Heavy Hitters, with a record of 5-3. Also with a record of 5-3, we've got in fifth place the ATL Dominators. Okay, in sixth place, we've got the Valley Mobsters with a record of 4-4. Also with a record of 4-4, the Uptown Scrippers in seventh place. In eighth place, David's team, record of 4-4. Also with a record of 4-4, the catch number 13. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm sick and everything. Y'all gotta excuse me, okay? Now, in 10th place, with a record of 3-5, the Kingstree Wildcats, okay? In 11th place, Fitty, also with a record of 3-5. In 12th place, with a record of 2-6, we have Christy Love's team, 12th place. In 13th place, Too Hot for TV, also with a record of 2-6. And must I mention, on a 2-game winning streak. I'm hoping it continues so I can keep rising to the top. Give it all you got, give it all you got. Anyway, in 14th place, And I'd like to thank you for your victory this week, Delta Dogs, with a record of 2-6. Okay? Now, so far in this week's matchups for week 9, this is what it's looking like. Okay? Now, neither team has scored in the matchup of Two Hopper TV versus Christy Love's team. Okay? With the Kingstree Wildcats going up against Duke Heavy Hitters, the Heavy Hitters are already in the lead with 5.5 points. In the matchup of David's team versus Fitty, Fitty is already in the lead with 27.86 points. Okay? The Mobsters from the Valley are going against the Dominators from the ATL. And so far, the ATL's got it. 8.60 points to 5.30 points. Okay, in the matchup of the Uptown Scrippers and the team that's in first place, Black Rain, the Scrippers, they dancing, baby, they dancing. 18.20 points to 2.20 points. This might be a close one. The matchup of the Delta Dogs versus the A-Town Jags. We got Dogs versus Cats over here. You know what I'm saying? The Cats are prowling. The Cats are prowling. 7.80 points to 0 points so far. Okay, in the matchup, we got the Catch number 13 versus the Rough Riders. And so far, them Riders are doing their thing. They got 32.30 points versus 0 for the Catch number 13. That's just so far. Okay, game's about to start. Let's get it popping. I'll check y'all next week, alright? Peace.